If your plant's not growing and sprouting new leaves, there's probably a big chance it needs a bigger pot, especially a houseplant. So this is one of my favorite houseplants that was gifted to me from a friend, and I got it as a stem after propagation, so it literally had no root ball. But as you can see, it was time to repot her. I had her in a very small pot, and she has outgrown it. She's very top heavy, so we used the original pot to kind of get an idea of how much soil we needed to put in the bottom of the pot. And as you can see, her root ball is very thick, and it's ready to go. It's ready to get repotted. I used probably about 2.5 bags of soil. I got the pot from Costco. Now, originally the pot she was in was from Costco as well. Costco's, kind of hit and miss with their gardening supplies. They work on the seasons, but a pot can cost you, and especially if it's like a clay pot, it could cost you anywhere from like $20 to even like $100. Obviously, the bigger the pot, the more expensive it is going to be. The pot that I decided to use both times were both plastic pots. This pot from Costco did not have drain holes already established, so my son had to drill the drain holes, and he drilled a total of 4 drain holes to make sure that the plant got a lot of drainage, because sometimes people forget that plants need a lot of drainage. So when you water your plant, you have to make sure that it's basically draining properly, or else what could happen is root rot. And saving a plant from root rot is like 10 times harder versus saving a plant who's not getting significantly enough water. If your plant is starting to show signs of not having enough water, I feel like you'll see it. It will be, stagnant leaves, not perked up. The plant just kind of looks mopey. The soil will be always kind of moist. You could kind of tell. So it was very important that when you're dealing with such a big pot, that you have adequate drainage. Another thing that you should do when you're dealing with a plant that has such a big pot is get like a stick and kind of poke holes through the soil every once in a while, probably like every couple of months. That allows more air to get through the soil, so the plant doesn't develop a lot of potential root rot, or also develops a lot of wet soil. The soil's then allowed to air through. So then we got her in after we put some soil on the bottom. We got her in, and I'm assuming she's a female plant. I mean, I don't know how to tell. I don't even know what kind of plant this is. And then I had to kind of hold her up straight, because as you can see, she kind of slants a little bit. So I had to hold her up straight, and then my son put the soil in. So definitely when you are planting or repotting a plant at this size, you're definitely probably going to need 2 people. One person, she probably would have came out crooked. She probably would have came out very crooked, or just not in the center. But since there was 2 people, somebody was able to hold while the other person was able to kind of shift the soil around. I absolutely love plants. To me, plants are like amazing. They just clear the oxygen around us, and they just make everything feel a little bit more greener, fresher, and more beautiful. So I'm a big fan of plants, and this plant was given to me from a friend who actually passed away. So this plant's very important to me, and I knew it was time to repot her. So here my son is just helping me like crazy. I'm like, get to work, kid. Come on, you got to help your mom. And one of the other things that's very important when you have a plant at this size is knowing where you want to put the plant. Because most likely a plant at this size, I'm not going to be able to move her around. Once I have potted her in my pot, once I've got her established, I'm not going to be able to move her around. She is upstairs, And that was one of my concerns. Was I asked my son, do you think if we move, you would be able, you and your dad and maybe like somebody else will be able to bring her downstairs if we ever have to move or relocate her for whatever reason? My son's like, yeah, it would definitely take a few people, because I'm like, there's no way I could do this, on my own. There's no way just one person could move this plant. She's probably now, with all the soil, is weighing close to like 60 pounds, maybe even more. And going up and down the stairs with a plant is way more difficult than going up and down the stairs with, like, let's say you are carrying, I don't know, weights or something, right? But going up and down the stairs with a plant is very difficult because it's very hard to grab them and you can accidentally break the top of the plant. So she's repotted and she's doing amazing. I will tell you, she is freaking doing amazing. And I have some photos of her that I'm going to share with you guys. So after I repotted her, I was like, she needs some Miracle-Gro or she needs some fertilizer. Another thing that people forget is you have to feed your plants. So water alone is not significant for plants. They're also going to need some type of fertilizer, some type of, plant food. So this was her after I planted her. Look at her. She looks great. This is literally her after she got repotted. Now this is her now. 3 months later, new stems bouncing everywhere. She's probably made at least 4 to 5 new stems since she's been repotted. She is literally almost touching the ceiling. She was never that tall before, and she's getting close to the ceiling. Homegirl's getting big. Thanks so much for watching.